Yo, what's going on, guys? It's DFS Hart, and today I'm breaking down the 10 game NBA slate that we have on February 1st. Before we get into that, I just want to say welcome to my channel. My name is Hart, and I make daily NBA, NFL, and PGA slate breakdowns on Draftkings. I'll be going over the best plays of the day and giving you some building blocks and core plays that you can put into your lineups. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, as it really helps out my channel. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at DFS Hart to keep you updated on all things DFS. As you can see right here, here's my page. Now let's get into it. We have a 10-game slate, as I mentioned. Hornets Heat, 6.5 point spread, 217 over under. Lakers Hawks, 5.5 point spread, 219 over under. Rockets Thunder, 5 point spread, 223 over under. Knicks Bulls, 4 point spread, 218 over under. Blazers Bucks, 9 point spread, 236 over under. Kings Pelicans, 3 point spread, 233 over under. Wolves Cavs, 4.5 spread, 218 over under. Grizzlies Spurs, 3.5 point spread, 221 over under. Suns Mavs, 2.5 point spread, 216.5 over under. And Pistons Nuggets, 8 point spread, 218. So the first game we got Lakers versus the Hawks. We have LeBron James and AD at the top, 10-2 and 9-8. I'm fine with you guys getting into both of them. This is a great matchup against the Hawks. They don't play any defense. LeBron and AD will have their way. They've both been playing about 35 to 40 minutes a game when it's close. Now, I would say there is a little bit of a blowout chance. The Lakers playing the Hawks. The Hawks are sometimes, not going to show up offensively. So I'd say, a little caution. And obviously, it says they're questionable right now with LeBron and AD. But the whole season, they've been doing that every game, having them questionable. But they usually end up playing. So you got to keep an eye on that and make sure, that they're 100% going to play. But yeah, I do like them at the top, even for their prices. Schroeder, 5'6". I mean, if LeBron and AD are in, you don't have to go there. Same with Harrell. I want to go there. It doesn't make sense because when AD was out a game or two ago, Harrell didn't do much, like 7-15. And then when AD came, is back against Boston, Harrell goes off for, 32.5. So, I mean, you guess you could take a shot. He is cheap at 5'4", but I don't think you want to go to anyone on this team. Maybe Caldwell Pope. He's a decent, he's a good three-point shooter, but he's been struggling over the past, 4 or 5 games ever since he exploded against Milwaukee. So you can go there if you want, it's a dart throw at 3-7, but that's about it on the side. I just like LeBron and AD at the top. On the Atlanta side, you got Trae Young, who is questionable, so you have to keep an eye on that as well. At 9-3, he has been, really good the past, 7, 8 games now. 50-plus every game can get you, into the 60s, closer to 70 if he's shooting really well. Has that, double-double upside with the points and assists. It's not a great matchup, going against LeBron and the Lakers because they're pretty good defensively, but he will be low owned. It's a good price for Trae Young. He's going to give you about 50 points, fantasy points a game, so I don't mind you going to Trae Young. He will have that low ownership. Clint Capella, 8-8. I don't think you have to do it. He'll be going against, Marc Gasol, so he should be able to do well, but I think it's just a little bit too expensive, especially in this matchup, to target Clint Capella. I'd rather go to the guard, Trae Young. Same with John Collins. You can definitely take a shot on him at 7-3, but he'll have to be guarding AD, and I don't really like that matchup for him. I think he will, have a little bit of foul trouble. As we can see, he's getting about 3 or 5 fouls a game. So he's losing out on minutes with that. Don't think you get to go there. Hunter is out, so that's going to give some more run to guys like Herter, Gallinari, and Cam Reddish. You can definitely take a shot on one of these guys. They aren't in the best spot, obviously, but 5'9" for Kevin Herter is not bad. He's a pretty good shooter. He's been struggling a little bit recently, but he can definitely have a good game. So he'd be an okay play. Gallinari, I don't know if I'd rather go to Herter or Reddish over Gallinari. He is 5K, but his minutes aren't there. Now he'll get a little bit more with DeAndre Hunter out, but I don't know how much you can trust it. He is scoring dependent, and he's just been bad this season, so I'd much rather go to, Herter or Reddish. And Reddish is 4-8. He did bad last game. I played him. He's very low owned. Played 32 minutes, but only shot the ball 7 times. which I was confused because he started the second half for DeAndre Hunter, who went out because he was injured. And I don't think he got any fancy points in the second half. He was just like stuck at 14. So, we can see at the box score, he has the chance to get you into the high 30s at 4.8. I think he'll be low owned as well. In this matchup, I do think you could take a good shot at him and hopefully get a nice return. Charlotte, Miami, Gordon Hayward at the top, 7.5. He's always in play, as I mentioned before. He's going to play about 35 to 40 minutes when it's close. Has a ton of usage. Now, he does have a low floor sometimes when he's not hitting his shots. And he kind of, lets the other guards on the team, play well and go after it. But I do like him. It's not the best matchup, but as we saw against, Milwaukee, he was able to put up 41, almost 42 fantasy points, played 36 minutes. So I expect the same thing from Gordon. He'll have a little bit of ownership, but I definitely think a lot of the field will be scared about the matchup against Miami. So I'm more than fine with you going to Gordon Hayward at 7.5. It's a good matchup. Minutes are there. It's just you need him to hit a shot. Metal Ball, 6.5. Well, to keep an eye out on this, as, Terry Rozier is questionable. LaMelo started the second half for him and went off. Basically broke the slate at 5.6. He was popular, but 55.5 fantasy points, basically. He shot 8 of 10, so I don't think you can expect that again. Didn't miss a free throw, so people will chase, but he is definitely in a great spot at 6.5 if he's going to start. Devontae Graham, I'd rather go to LaMelo Ball. Terry Rozier, if he's out, play LaMelo Ball. If he's in, I'd say just kind of look at Gordon Hayward, and then you could definitely take a shot on one of the guards, but I'd much rather get to Gordon Hayward. And then Cody Zeller, 5.3. His price has come up. He's been, chalked the past few slates, but he's been paying it off. Last one, 37, almost 38. Played 34 minutes. I do think he's, firmly in play once again. At 5.3, his price tag's not too high yet. He's getting the minutes, 30, 26, 34. So if this game is close, I definitely see him getting around 30 to 35, and he can easily pay off that price. So on this side, I do like Gordon Hayward and Zeller, and then if Rozier is out, definitely, look to play LaMelo Ball. On the Miami side, we have Bam at the top, 9.4. I don't think you have to do it. It's just very pricey for Bam. He is a good player, getting you about 45 plus a game, but now with Jimmy back, Tyler Hero and Dragic, if they're playing him back, I don't think you have to do it. It's just a little too expensive. I'd rather pay up for much guys who are in better spots. Jimmy Butler at 8.4. He was low owned last game, so which was great. Got 34 minutes coming back, 50 fantasy points. He went off. He has that ability to do so. He's going to play about 35, maybe 40 minutes if it's a close game. He is coming back from COVID, so they might limit him to around 35, but he has that ability to go off at 8.4. I don't think the price is too great on him. It's kind of expensive for 8.4, but you can definitely go there. Tyler Hero 7.1, questionable. Got to keep an eye on this. If he's in, it does take a little bit of usage away from Jimmy, but we saw last game went for 40 minutes against Sacramento when he played. 27.5 fantasy points, so it is a little expensive for Tyler Hero, but he does have that upside into the 40s if he's shooting the ball well, so you can definitely take a shot on one of these three at the top, but I don't think you have to do it. If Dragic is back, it takes a little bit of minutes and usage away from Hero at 6.4. I just think the price is fine if he plays. None, if these guards are in, I don't think you have to go to none at 6K. He'll lose a decent amount of minutes to those guards. And he didn't play last game because of he had a late arriving test, so we'll have to see what happens to these guards and their questionable tags. And then you can take a dart throw on Andre Iguodala. He is questionable, but he's played about 20 plus, closer to 25 a game since the season started, since he's been getting run. So he has a little bit of decent upside. It's just he doesn't score a lot that often. So if he's not hitting shots, there's a risk of him not getting you there. But at 3.8, you can definitely take a dart throw on that. New York, versus Chicago. Julius Randle's in a great spot. He's 9-2. You want to target bigs against the Bulls because they're terrible at defense. He's only played 35 minutes or less in the past 4 games, but I do think he could get extended against the Bulls this game. He went off for 51.5 against the Clippers in a bad matchup, so just think about the Bulls. It's just asking for him to get a triple-double, so I do really like Julius Randle against the Bulls. RJ Barrett, you can target him, 6'7". Price tag's not that great, but it is a good matchup against the Bulls, as I mentioned. There's going to be no defense. He's going to play about 35 minutes a game. So I do like him. Quickly, he's become popular. He'll be even more popular this slate. So he will have probably a decent amount of ownership at 5.3, but it's well worth it. He's going to play about 25 minutes a game, and if he's hitting a shot, as you see, he's going to get you 35-plus fantasy points. His ability to go off, he's been shooting well the past 2 games. So the ownership will be there, but I am more than fine with going to quickly at 5.3 against the Bulls. Excuse me. Mitchell Robinson, 5'2". I don't think you get to do it. Alec Burks, 4'7". You can take a shot. Now that their team is pretty much fully healthy, he's not been getting 30 minutes like we saw at the beginning. He's been down to closer to 20. But you can take a shot and hope he gets extended because he's shooting well. Elfrid Payton, losing all his minutes too quickly, so I don't think you get to do it at 4-4. Just, not playing well over the past 2 weeks. And that does it for me. Well, Noel is out, so Taj did play about 18 minutes. He's 3K in a revenge spot, revenge narrative if you're into that against the Bulls. He's not going to be a high usage guy, but you can take that, dart throw at 3K, hope he pays off. On the Chicago side, we have Zach LaVine at the top, 9K. It's not the best matchup for Zach. Knicks play slow. They're great at defense. But he does have the ability to, go off in any sort of matchup or game. So 9K, it's a decent price tag for him. I don't think I'm going to go there, but you guys could definitely do that. Laurie at 6'8". I'm not going to do that, but he's in play if you want to. Kobe. I'm fine with you landing at Kobe. I mentioned him last game. I like to buy low on guys. He got 33, almost 34 fantasy points, 34 minutes. So I think his minutes will float around 35. You just need him to be more aggressive. He's been playing okay in the past. He started off great at the beginning of the season. Kind of hit a little slump, but I do like this price in Kobe. I think he's a decent play. Wendell's still out, so Thad Young, 5'7". He's been almost having a triple-double past few games, so he's going to have a good amount of ownership at 5'7", but he's definitely a play, especially with, Otto Porter Jr. is questionable. That would definitely give a little bit more run to Thad Young. So at 5'7", I'm more than fine if you go into him. He does have that triple-double upside. And that really does it for me on the Bulls side. Not too much to like. Minnesota to Cleveland. They played last night. Towns is questionable, so if he's in, it does, take a hit to Russell and Beasley's production. Towns would be in a great, good spot. He'd be very low owned. You just got to watch, the minutes, see if he's going to be limited. I don't think he will, but we'll have to see. But he's been averaging about 50 fantasy points a game, 9-8 against Cleveland. Great matchup. Going to have a low ownership, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Excuse me. D'Lo, 7K. If Towns is out, you can definitely look to D'Lo. Good price for him. He played 31 minutes last game, so the minutes are going up. Didn't shoot the ball too well, but he definitely has the upside with the minutes. He'll probably get closer to 35 if it's close. So I do like this price tag for D'Lo. And you could definitely look to him if Towns is in. It's the 1-2 punch, so I wouldn't mind it, but I'd definitely get to Towns over Russell if they're both playing. And then Beasley, I'd much rather get to D'Lo for 300 more, especially if Towns is in. You can do it if you want. I want it. And that's about it for this rest of this team if Towns is in. Cleveland, As I mentioned last slate, Drummond is a perfect GPP play. He could get extended, and that's what he did. As I mentioned, that either he's going to play around 28 minutes, or we can get lucky and he gets extended. He extended to 33, so it's not a ton more, but he went out for 62.5 fantasy points, 25-22. I mentioned it was a great spot, so if you were on Drummond, props to you. He probably helped you at least cash or get close to cashing. It's the same matchup. I do think people are going to go there. They're going to chase that 62, and I do think he might get a little bit less minutes today. So you can definitely look to Drummond again. I probably will. He's at 8-6, great matchup. Just killed him. Probably will kill him again. It's just we don't know if he's going to get that 33 minutes again. I'd say it'd be closer to 28. And, be wary of him, crumbling and not doing well. Especially he's going to have inflated ownership. Sexton, 7K. You can go there if you want. I'm not going to do it. He's going to play about 35 minutes a game, score independent, as we see the last two games. Not getting you there, so price tag has come up. It's just not a play for me. Larry Nance, 6'5", no thanks. Garland, I mentioned him, every slate. 5'9". You're going to play about 30 minutes. I'd say closer to 35 once he gets his stamina back. Has ability to shoot in the 30s, 40s if he's playing well, so you can definitely look to Garland, 5'9". He's been shooting pretty decent the past two games since coming back. So I don't mind Darius Garland. And that does it for me on this side. Not too much to like besides Drummond at the top. Portland, Milwaukee. We got Dame at 10-7. His price tag is up, but we saw against the Bulls his ability to go off. Went off for 60, almost 68 fantasy points. So it's going to be a high-scoring game between Milwaukee and them. You just kind of hope it stays close. There's a little bit of blowout risk, but I'm more than fine with you landing on Dame at 10-7. CJ's still out. Enos, I think his price tag's a little bit too high for him in this matchup. You got Giannis and Brook Lopez on the other side, so they're big bodies. I don't think Enos is going to be able to do well against them, so he's a stay away from me. Gary Trent Jr., you can definitely take a shot on. His price tag has come up to 5-7. He's playing about almost 40 minutes a game, which is huge, but he's just scoring dependent. So if he's not hitting his shots, he's not going to get you there. I just don't think you get to do it for 5-7, but you can definitely take your shot if you want to. Covington, 5K, played about 35 minutes. Going to get you to closer to 30 to 35 minutes a game. Not shooting well this year, not shooting a ton, but it can get you definitely a good amount of steals and blocks. He's going to have to be guarding Giannis, so I don't know if I trust that. Foul trouble is in question, so he's an okay play. I'd much rather get to Anthony. He'll be coming off the bench, 4-9. Only played 17 minutes last game, which you don't want to see, but he played bad. And they gave the run to Nasir Little, which makes no sense, but I do think we'll see about 20 to 25 minutes from Melo coming off the bench. Decent spot for him. I'd much rather play, Melo over Covington and Gary Trent in the spot. And then you could take a dart throw on Simons at 4-2. He's been playing a good amount. Didn't shoot well last game, but he shot well before. Going to play about 25 to 30 if he's playing well. Can get you into the 30 fantasy point range, but I don't think you get to do it. On this side, I'd just much rather target Dame and then take a shot on Carmelo and hope he does well off the bench. Milwaukee side, we got Giannis, questionable, 11K. So you got to keep updated on that. But he'll play about 40 minutes a game. Huge upside. 11K is expensive, and not a lot of value is opened up right now, but that could definitely change by the time the slate starts. So you just have to keep an eye out for that. But I do like him in this matchup, obviously against Portland. No one's going to be able to stop him. Good matchup for Middleton as well, and the rest of the team, Drew Holiday. You can go there at 8-5. I'd just much rather pay up for other people. Drew Holiday, you can definitely, I'm fine with you landing on anyone on his team on the side. Even like Brook Lopez. It's just, I'd rather go to other teams, target other players. But they'll probably be Middleton will be low on. Drew Holiday will be low on. I definitely think people will try to punt with Giannis in some value if value doesn't open up, but he will have an okay price, not price tag, ownership. DiVincenzo, 4.8. He's playing about, 25 minutes game? Hasn't been playing well recently, so I don't think you have to do it. You could definitely take a shot on Pat Connaughton. He's at 3.7. He's been playing closer to 30 minutes, about 20 to 30 if he's playing well. Past 2 games he's on you, 24, 29. You could take a dart throw on him. I don't know if I trust it, but he's one of those guys you can hope it pays off. On the side, I'd just much rather target Giannis, and then if you want to get risky and have low ownership, go to Middleton or Holiday. But that does it for me. Excuse me. Sacramento and New Orleans. Fox, top 8-3. I do like this matchup. I do like this spot. His price tag has come down a little bit, which is nice to see. But as I mentioned every slate, he seems to be stuck in this 40 fantasy point range, in between 40 to 50 at 8-3. I mean, it's a great spot. He has a high ceiling if he's having a really good game, as we saw with almost 78 fantasy points. But I don't know if you have to do it. It's just like he seems to be at a capped fantasy point level, kind of like Zion on the other side, which we'll get to. But he held 6.5. I don't play him. You can if you want to, but not for me. Rashawn Holmes losing minutes for some reason. Only played 28 last game. Wasn't in foul trouble. So I just, we're seeing huge minutes, closer to 35 to 40, which is nice. But if his minutes keep going down, I don't think he has to go there. You can take a shot on Barnes and Bagley. They're, good GPP plays. It's just, you never know if they're going to get you 20 fantasy points or 40. And the guy I always talk about, Halliburton, 5'2". I love him. Everyone's starting to get on him now, which is unfortunate, but he's going to play about 30 minutes a game. Triple-double upside. He's just slightly lower fantasy point production-wise player than LaMelo Ball, but still has that, triple-double upside. If he's shooting well, he can get you there into the 40s, so I do really like this matchup and price for Halliburton. I think he's my favorite play on the Kings side once again. On New Orleans side, we have Ingram at the top, 8-2. As I mentioned every game, he has a higher ceiling than Zion, but he just has a lower floor. We saw 53 a few games ago, but he hasn't reached 50 once since that or before that. So it's just one of those things. He's a really good player. It's just he's been so inconsistent this year, and if he's scoring, sometimes he just doesn't get a rebound or assist. So I'm fine with you landing on him at 8-2. It's kind of expensive, but he has 50 to 60 fantasy point upside if he's playing really well. It's a good matchup. I like it. Zion will have a good amount of ownership today at 7.9. He was going off last game. It blew out. So unfortunately, he didn't get his normal, 35 minutes. He's kind of like De'Aaron Fox. Kind of has this cap on his fantasy point production, like 40 to 45. We're not seeing those huge upside games, which we almost saw last game, but he's one of those players you can plug into your lineup and you're going to get about 40 fantasy points, hopefully more. So I do like Zion a good amount at 7.9. And then, as I mentioned last slate, take a shot on the guards, more specifically Lonzo Ball. His price tag is still cheap, 5.5. He has triple-double upside, even though we haven't really seen it this year, but he has the ability to, if he's hitting his shots, get you into the 30. Even, we saw 2 games ago, 47 fantasy points. So I like him in the spot. He's going to get about 30 to 35 minutes, hopefully, if he gets extended. He's not the best shooter, but he can get you rebounds, assists, some steals, and a block. So I do like him in this matchup at 5.5 again. He'll have some low, ownership, but definitely, if you're going to look at this game, look to Halliburton and then Lonzo Ball. Steven Adams, if he plays, I'm fine with you landing on him at 5.4. He'll usually play about 30 to 35 minutes. Has, double-double upside with points and rebounds. Not going to score you a ton of points, but definitely has that upside. So I'm more than fine if you land on Steven Adams if he plays. If he's out, we can look to guys like Hernan Gomez and Hayes, but we'll have to see. They're not the best point per minute guys, but value-wise, they'd be pretty decent options if Steven Adams is out. Moving on to the last 4 games of the slate. Houston OKC should be a high-scoring game, not a lot of defense. Christian with the top, 8-9. I'm fine if you land on him. I just don't think I'm going to do it today. He's going to play about 35-ish minutes. He can get you 40, 50 plus. It's a good matchup. I'd much rather pay up for a few other guys or pay a little bit down. Victor, you can definitely play him. He's in play, 8K. He's gotten you 40 the past 2. It's just, with everyone healthy now. Game blew out, so he lost some minutes to that. He'll probably play around 35 minutes a game. I don't know if we can expect 40 fantasy points every game, but he is getting a good amount of usage. I'm fine if you land on Victor Oladipo. I just much rather play John Wall at 6'9". This is probably one of the cheapest price tags he'll have all year unless he goes on a really bad streak, but he'll play. His minutes are starting to creep up. Last game blew out, so he would have saw at least 30 minutes. But I'd say he's good for at least 30 minutes, maybe even a few more. This game against OKC, great matchup. Probably will get you in 40 fantasy points, so I do like John Wall a lot. Eric Gordon, with everyone back, you can take a shot, but he's scoring dependent. I want to do it. And that does it for me on this side. Really like John Wall. And then obviously Wood and Gordon. Or Wood and Oladipo, if you land on them, that's fine. OKC side, SGA. Every slate I mention it. If they keep it close, it's because of SGA. He's got that 40, 50 plus fantasy point upside. Going to play about 35 to 40 minutes if it's close. We only saw 31 against Phoenix, but still got you 48 fantasy points. I do think this is a great spot against Houston. No defense, so you can definitely game stack this game and go SGA and maybe like a value play on this side and go the Houston guys. But I do like SGA a lot at 8-1. Al Horford, he's been playing well the past 2 games. 49, 37. But he's just not getting the minutes. He's capped at 30. And it's like a Drummond situation where, Drummond has the ability to still go off. I don't think Al Horford does. You can definitely, choose him. It's a good matchup for him. It's just the minutes, He's restricted to 30 minutes for some reason. But he has that small chance to get you there, so you can definitely take that shot. Basley, GPP play, 5-1. He's up and down. If you land on him, that's fine. 30 minutes a game. If he's doing well, he can get you 40 plus fantasy points, but he's just so up and down and inconsistent. I just don't know if you want to take that shot, but you can. And then I'd say down here, Maladin is a decent option. Shot really well last game, got you 36 fantasy points. We'll probably have ownership still. He'll play about 30 minutes a game. I don't know if you can expect a good shooting again, even though he has been shooting well the past 2 games, but it's a good spot. Even if the game blows out, he'll still get minutes, so I do like him a good amount at 4-3 because George Hill's still out. That does it for me on this side. Phoenix, Dallas. Booker is questionable. I think he might play. If he's in, it kind of takes away my liking of Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, or anyone on this team really. So if he's in, I'd say take a shot on one of these wings. I'd say maybe Mikal Bridges. He's in the best spot, price-wise. Because as we saw at the beginning of the season, when they're all playing, everyone's minutes in fantasy point production is just capped. Booker was he's getting 35 a game. I'll show you guys. He was getting 35 a game, capped at 43 as the most with everyone back and playing. So I don't like really anyone on the side besides maybe Mikal Bridges at 5'8" if Booker's in. He does have some good upside and a decent floor for when everyone plays. He's going to get you about 35 minutes a game. Good defender. So yeah, that probably does it for me on the side. If Booker's in, take a shot on Bridges. If he's out, you can definitely look to Chris Paul again and then one of these wings, but I think he'll play, so I'm going to avoid him. Dallas side, we got Luka at the top, 10-8. You can go back there. I played him last slate. He kind of failed me. He's been doing. I mean, if you look at the box score, you'd say, oh, he played well. Shot the ball well, 29 fantasy point or 29 real points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. But I mean, when you pay up for a guy who's 10-8, especially Luka Doncic, he has massive upside, and I missed cash by like 3 points because him and Jeremy Grant screwed me. But I'm more than fine if you land on Luka. His ability to absolutely crush. I do like Porzingis in the spot. He got rested last game, didn't play. He's 7'6" now. He'll play about 33 minutes a game. I really like Porzingis for some reason. I do think Luka and Porzingis are going to pick it up. They've been playing bad recently, but I think even with Phoenix being a good defensive team, Porzingis is in a great spot. And now with Porzingis back, I don't think you really have to go into anyone else on this team. It's just mostly Luka and Porzingis at the top. You can definitely take a shot on Finney Smith. He's playing about 30, 35 minutes a game. 4-1. Not a high usage guy, but he can get you there sometimes. That really does it for me. I mean, Josh Richardson played 35 minutes, but he's just not shooting the ball well this year, so he's having a really low floor. John Morant, 7'6". I actually avoided this game at the last second. I took Morant and those Spurs guys out of my lineup, thankfully. Actually, I played DeJounte Murray. I was going to play DeMar, but thankfully I didn't. But yeah, Morant, he only played 20 minutes, which is surprising. I guess you could see probably 30 plus this game. I would trust that. Has huge upside. So he is in a good spot at 7'6", even though his price tag came up. J Val's still out. Jaren Jackson, hopefully he's coming back soon. Brandon Clark, 6'2". You can definitely go there. It's a decent price tag for him. It's just they ran like a huge rotation last game for some reason. Obviously, it blew out, so people got run in the last 5 to 6 minutes, but only played 26 minutes. I think we can expect at least 30 to 35. Has a decent floor, good ceiling. Worth a shot at 6'2" if you want to go there. Kyle Anderson, not for me. Dylan Brooks, not for me. Xavier Tillman, he was chalk. His price tag came up. Only played 21 minutes. And I know it did blow out, so he probably lost a few minutes from that. But Gorgie Dang did play well and is a better offensive player than Tillman. So they gave extended run to him. So I think it just depends on who they start. If they start Tillman, you can definitely go back to Tillman at 4'8". Or you could definitely take a shot on Dang at 4'7". Gorgie played 27 minutes. Got you 33, almost 34 fantasy points. He's a good rebounder, and he can get you points. A little bit better offensively than Tillman, so you can definitely take a shot on one of these two guys. Melton randomly played 35 minutes last game. 35 fantasy points, 32 minutes, so I don't really know. It's like the Spurs side. This game is just weird. The coaches, will randomly play their bench more than the starters. But I do really like Morant on the side, and then either Tillman or Dang. On the Spurs side, we have DeRozan at the top, 7K. Going to be highly owned, but it's well worth it. Obviously, if you played him last game, that sucks. 7 fantasy points, 25 minutes. That's horrendous, but I do think it is worth going back to him. He has a high upside into the 40s. He has been up and down the season. It's a good chance that you guys get popped again. I'm going to do it, so that means he'll probably get 5 fantasy points, but it's just too good of a price to not pay and play DeRozan at 7K. DeJounte Murray, I say he now has the safest floor on the team. Even with Derek White back, he'll play about 30 to 35 minutes. Can get you, in 30s, 40s if he's playing well. So I do like DeJounte in the spot. Again, Keldon Johnson, you can land if you want. I'm not. Same with Aldridge. I'm not. And Derek White, 4'6". I don't mind him, taking a shot on him. He's, played 23 minutes, 22 minutes. I think you can expect 25 this game. He is a good player, but he's coming off injuries, so they might still limit him. But he got 27 fantasy points last game. I definitely think he is in play on this side, especially with how Pop loves to just randomly play people off the bench for like 30 minutes. I think that does it for me on the Spurs side. Vassell, his minutes are going down, which you don't like to see, so I don't think you get to go there. You can take a shot on Polo. Jakob is 4.4K. Plays about 20 minutes a game. Could get extended if this game blows out for some reason. Can get you there. He's had some good games, so I'm fine if you want to take a dart throw on him at 4.4. But on the side, for me, it's DeRozan and Dante at the top. And then, take a shot on Derek White if you want at 4.6. Last game of the day, Detroit, Denver. Sorry. We have Grant at the top, 7-8. He destroyed me last game, 4 points away from cashing, and he didn't get any fourth quarter run. They got blown out. He only shot the ball 8 times. 8 times. He's shooting about 20 times a game. Shot the ball 8 times going into the fourth quarter. Made no sense. I know the game was like a 15-point game pretty much since the first quarter, but 22 fantasy points, he destroyed me. It was so frustrating, him and Luka. So at 7-8, it's a good spot. There is blowout risk in this game, so you can land them if you want. Delon Wright, 6-1 not for me. Blake Griffin, not for me, 5-9. He'll have like one good game out of every 5 to 6. Plumlee, they're going to need his defense, revenge game. So at 5-3, I'm fine with you landing on him. It's just, foul trouble. He does like to foul. Going against Jokic, I don't know if you can trust that. Wayne Allen, 10-4-9, 2 score independent. Josh Jackson, 4-8. No. D Rose, his price tag has come down a ton. He is 4.7. He is going to play about 20 minutes a game. 25 if he's scoring well and playing well. So you can definitely take a shot on him. I just don't know if I trust it, especially if this game blows out. They're not going to give him extra run. And then you can take a dart throw on Isaiah Stewart. He's playing about 20 minutes a game. Will get extended if it blows out. Plumlee might get in foul trouble, and they're going to give some more run to Stewart. So I do think he's a decent value. I don't think a lot of people are going to get to him. He'll be a low owned, so 3.5 is not bad to punt with him. And that does it for me to get. Denver side. For Denver, I like Jokic at the top. Obviously, last game he went off against Gobert. I think he almost had 77 fantasy points. Firmly in play in this matchup. It's just, blowout risk. They might blow him out. Same with, Jamal Murray, 7-2. Great GPP play. Low floor, but has a huge ceiling. I do really like Michael Porter Jr. in this spot, 6'5". He is coming off the bench. Got in foul trouble, so he didn't play his full run last game. But I do think he has the ability to have a huge game. Even if, it's a blowout, he'll still get some run. So I do really like, Michael Porter Jr. the most on this side. And then Gary Harris, questionable. You have to keep an eye out for that. If he's out, you can take a shot on Will Barton at 4.8. Had a good game last game. Played 37 minutes. I just think people will chase that, and especially if this game blows out, they're not going to give extended run to Will Barton. And then Monte Morris, 3.8. We know we're going to get about 30 minutes a game, maybe a little bit more, especially if what is his name? Gary Harris is out. Murray will play a little bit more minutes, so at 3.8, that's fine. I think my favorite play on this side, besides Jokic, is Michael Porter Jr. and then Murray. And that does it for me today, guys. I just want to say, thank you for tuning in. I'll give you guys a little bit of a core if you want. I was going to try to make this less than 40 minutes, but we're getting close. I'd say go with John Wall. I really like the point guard approach today with Wall, Lonzo Ball, and then Randall. I'd say those are my core plays for today. So I just want to thank you again for tuning in. Follow me on Twitter at DFSHeart. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It really helps my channel, and I appreciate it. And see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.